Hi there guys, Sam here. So you join me in my Mark 7 Golf R and I'm off to drive the Mk8 Gti Clubsport. Last time I drove it a couple of months ago, and I've got kind of 3 questions I kind of want to ask myself and also help you guys out as well, being a bit of a car community. The first one being, is it worth the wait? I've got a lot of, I've done a lot of videos about how there's a delay with this microchip processor issue, which basically means that new cars aren't getting built. So people are having to wait months on end, if not potentially into 2022. So I'm going to hopefully answer that question for you lot. The second question is it still fun? From what I remember, it was pretty awesome from my point of view. But yeah, that's a good one. And the third one is actually around the gearbox, because I struggled to really get to grips with it. And it's kind of working out. I didn't like it in manual mode with the DSG gearbox, both with the Mk8 Golf R and the GTI Clubsport. And then also, in automatic mode, I felt the Golf R was fine, but then GTI Clubsport wasn't so good. Now, the owner of the previous GTI Clubsport did tell me there was some sync issues or something, and it had to have a software update. So maybe it was a one-off, but this is a completely different owner, completely different car. So let's see how I find it. And let's switch to me driving the Mk8 Gti Clubsport, because I'm really looking forward to this once again, and bringing you along for the journey. So let's do this. Hi there guys, so you join me in a Mk8 Golf GTI Clubsport. So I kind of asked myself kind of 3 questions, and I was kind of like, first of all, is this GTI Clubsport worth the wait? That was kind of the first thing on my mind with all the delays that we're seeing, as I kind of mentioned before. Is it still as fun as I last remembered? That's kind of the main thing. A couple of months ago since I drove it, I couldn't get the smile off my face. It was absolutely brilliant. And the final thing is the gearbox, because when I drove the last 2, I'll be honest, particularly the GTI Clubsport, as I've mentioned just before the start of this, I found it a little bit hard to get used to. Maybe because I drive a manual all the time, I'm not so sure. But I found it a little bit hesitant, particularly in manual mode and stuff like that. So let's see if these things can be debuffed. First of all, it's great to be back in here. I absolutely love it. Having driven here sort of like about 40-45 minutes in the Mark 7R, I straight away noticed how much more modern this car kind of feels. And to pretty much answer your first question, at the moment I kind of get in this, kind of look around it. I'll show a walk around as I'm kind of talking. The colour looks brilliant. I haven't seen too many in this kind of colour. I like that kind of toned down sort of look, which can still look, still pretty special. I think myself and the owner are kind of on the same page. Like you look at like the Audis, the Nardo Grey, it's quite similar to that. So it looks absolutely fantastic. This car's on 18-inch wheels. I'd always be a huge advocate for 18s. I just think you get the best balance. Tyres are cheaper, comfortable, still, firm and engaging enough to kind of enjoy. And it's great. Obviously a little bit firmer than my R, a little bit firmer than probably the Mk8 R as well, but nothing too bad. You could literally poodle around in this and you can have all the fun in the world. And I think that's a great trait to have, and why I kind of like the Golfs, why I've kind of built up this community channel, is that kind of 2 sides of it. You don't have to go hell for leather all the time if you don't want to, and I think on the road some of the time you can't, but when you get some nice roads, it can still be fun. Now, one thing I didn't do in the last GTI Clubsport is I didn't turn off traction control. Now the owners kindly turned that off for me here, and what I noticed was the power was pulled back so much with the front wheel drive, which is not what you want. You've paid your money, you've got 300 brake horsepower, you kind of want to enjoy as much as you can. And to be honest with you, it's atrocious weather today, as you can probably see. Okay, I'm not exactly going anything special, but I'm not exactly worried of sort of slipping and sliding around. And I'm pretty happy on that kind of side of things. So even within the first couple of minutes of being in this car, is it worth the wait? And it sucks that a lot of people are sort of waiting even potentially till 2022 to collect their car, which is not great. It is worth the wait. It genuinely is. Stick it out. That whole heritage kind of thing of the GTI, you can't kind of make that kind of stuff up. And the car is great. You can probably go that even more hardcore and go for a different brand, go for like a Civic Type R or something like that. But for me, the balance and the facts just a Golf is what always sells it to me. So that's kind of one thing. Is it as fun? That's the second thing I kind of asked. Yeah, it just is. And the best way I can kind of describe it is it comes some pretty nice roads, I've got to say, albeit slippery and wet. And I ended my last kind of video on that. So it reminded me of the Fiesta ST, and that's the best example I can kind of give from just a fun car. Obviously minus the more kind of rattly nature, that's the kind of thing. Yeah, it's fun. It's a whole heap of fun, even at slow speeds. It's a great laugh. And the touches inside are really, really great. Some of the red dials, they really do kind of make it actually. They look great. Brakes. I mean, this car's only done 3,000 miles. I will actually have a chat with the owner in what you'll see tomorrow's video, where we're just going to do a bit of a Q&A, so a bit of a behind the scenes really of a GTI Clubsport owner and a bit of a aficionado, is that the right word to say? Yes, someone who shares kind of the same passion is always great.
So that was in sport, but now it's in the proper sport mode.
Oh, gotcha.
So that was almost the comfort sport.
Gotcha.
This will now be ready to go.
Awesome. So yeah, I've just spun it around, and that was sort of in what I'm told is more sort of like a comfort type setting, comfort sport, so you still get some things. This is now in pretty much as hard as you're going to kind of get it from this car in sport mode. Straight away you can kind of hear it, sort of it makes a lot more noise. Let's see how we get on in. Okay, yeah, I mean, and you know what, actually straight away, gearbox feels really, really good. Really, really good. I think these DSG boxes are pretty underrated, to be honest with you. Particularly for road use as well. I love these roads. The roads are great, which is a big help. Hopefully the audio is okay. I do apologise if there's issues with the rain and stuff like that, but I will do a summary after this drive as well to kind of yeah, let you know what things are like. I don't find it uncomfortable. I think it's cracking on that side, and I think with all the issues that people have been having, and you know, a lot of my audience is from the UK as well, so you know, these roads are kind of pretty similar all round. A bit bumpy here, sometimes they're a bit twisty, sometimes they can be a bit boring. This definitely makes it entertaining. Yeah, it's always hard on camera to kind of put it across, but yeah, it's a special car. You know, I've loved, you know, I speak to owners who have the Mk8 GTI Clubsport as well, sort of the 40th edition, and they just love it. They can't talk highly enough of it. This is essentially just the same, but in Mk8 form, and actually with a slightly less of a limited run. Where if we weren't going through such strange times with cars these days, they would almost be seen as quite a bit of a bargain. I'm a big fan. So to answer my 4 points, or 3 points, first one, yes, 100%, it's worth the wait. Second one, is it fun? Yes, doesn't matter, you know, these aren't exactly, you know, high speed limit roads, but it's fun, it's a load of fun. And second one, the gearbox feels absolutely fine. Certainly in automatic. I can try manual mode, but let's see how you get it. Again, audio is going to be a hard one to kind of judge, but you get pops and bangs, which for a 2021 car, yeah, I'm sold. You don't have to be looking for like an aftermarket exhaust or going to a tuners or whatever like that, and you know, straight pipe in your car. Just enjoy it for what it is. You know, they've made a great car and it's brilliant. I'm not really having any traction issues either. Sort of road-based tyres helps in these conditions. Oh, it's such a cool car, such a cool car. I love the brakes, and again, the lack of weight means the brakes are ultimately better than, say, like the Mk8 Golf R. It's essentially the same discs, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah, and you know what? When I bought my Mark 7 Golf R, I drove it on roads like this the moment I picked it up, and it was only when it was raining where it really came to life and was really fun. I've driven this car in beautiful sunshine around Northampton back a few months ago, and this was definitely more fun in the dry. In the wet, yeah, I think wet driving, you just have that more sort of playfulness, a lot more control. You can kind of play around with things. It's pretty great. I'll see if I can try the paddles. Yeah, you know what? We've got an ambulance coming anyway, but I mean, listen to that.
Pop, pop.
It's literally on demand, and I do it kind of with my Mark 7. To get the bangs, basically what you have to do is over 3,000 revs, tap the throttle and then lift off, and you'll get it. Again, I don't know how much of the audio is going to come up for you guys. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, you get a little bit of wheel spin, but nothing too bad. These look like proper icy roads, as you can kind of see from the footage. Yeah, and the Mark 8 Golf R did make some pops and bangs. My Mark 7 Golf R does sort of make some pops and bangs on the overrun. It's not like this, and for this to be in a Golf is brilliant. So yeah, gearbox is good. Yeah, manual mode is absolutely fine. Automatic mode is absolutely fine as well. So maybe it was just an issue with the car that I saw before. That's what I'll go with. So yeah, to buff any sort of faults that these cars are, have any faults. I mean, they're just special. Yeah, there we go. I can't stop smiling. Again, it's just brilliant that a subscriber sort of reached out and sort of allowed me to kind of drive. It takes a lot of I've got a lot of respect for someone who allows me to drive a 40 grand brand new car. Ultimately, I don't, you know me virtually through YouTube, so you never know. So that means a lot. So thanks so much for that. The car's brilliant. I love it. Short drive or long drive, I can kind of get on with this. If you see me kind of bouncing up and down, some of the roads are pretty bouncy. It's a firmer riding car, but it's nothing too bad. A car that makes you laugh at 30 miles an hour is a good car. I won't completely upset the neighbours of the subscriber. It's brilliant. Let me have a summary once I've settled myself down back in my R, and I'll talk to you. And stay tuned for tomorrow's video actually, because I'm just going to do a bit of a Q&A with the owner, talk everything VW, talk about his GTI Clubsport. Yeah, so first of all, let me have my conclusions back in my Golf R. So yeah, see you there. So back where it all started in my Mark 7 Golf R. What an amazing drive. And to be honest with you, I know I didn't push it as hard as I probably could have done, not being my car. Huge thank you to the owner for allowing me that sort of opportunity. Again, if you want to get in touch, I'm from the Hertfordshire area around St Albans, but drop me a DM or drop me an email. I've got sort of like in the about section on my YouTube channel. That'd be fantastic to see if we can work something out. But yeah, it was amazing. One thing I didn't touch on, the colour looks fantastic, that grey. One thing that I don't know why Volkswagen missed a trick with the Golf R to only allow 3 colours. The different choice really does bring it out. It looked fantastic, even with all the rain. Sun's come out now. It's always typical, isn't it? But it was such a fantastic drive. Still put a smile on my face. I could still thoroughly recommend it. If you're waiting on one, keep waiting. Well done for the owner for getting it in January. So he's had a good sort of 6-7 months. Well, yeah, into August now, enjoying it. It was good fun in the wet as well. The noise is great. I wasn't too sure if the pops and bangs were from the previous one, the previous Golf GTI that I drove, was because maybe the owner drove it quite enthusiastically getting to me. But yeah, I mean, the car was cold. I sort of drove it around a little bit and then obviously showed you the video as you've just seen. It makes a great noise. Yeah, it really, really does. And it's just hilarious in a Golf. A Golf shouldn't be able to do that. Properly quick. I've got a video tomorrow, which is kind of part 2 of this, which is just a Q&A with me and the owner. We chatted for about half an hour. Figured it was worth a video as well, and I think you lot would be interested in. Yeah, and it's just fantastic meeting you guys. You know, it's cool to understand how you've sort of found the channel. You're definitely the sort of people that I love to be a part of the community. You know, that's all it is. You know, and it's great to hear other people's thoughts as well. So stay tuned for tomorrow's video as well on that. I hope you enjoyed the drive. I certainly did. I thought it was fantastic. A little bit shorter. If you want sort of like a longer review, check out that video, which I did. It's about 30 minutes long, my first drive in it. Yeah, still smiling ear to ear. I suppose final point, you know, I kind of asked those couple of questions as well, which I feel I kind of answered. Would I go for one? I think, to be honest with you, it certainly is a better car and it has a lot of plus sides to it. Slightly firmer than this car. Driving this car back, about an hour back, yeah, this is a little bit more chilled. I think the biggest point for me is there's about a 20 grand difference in price at the moment. My car being worth about 20 grand. You can't really find one of those for that much less than 40. So that's just the way the market is. But, you know, well done to the owner. They had an hour before, and stay tuned for tomorrow. You know, tomorrow's video as well. I recommend you tuning into that to get a little bit more insight behind the owner. And yeah, and hopefully you found it useful, you found it interesting, and yeah, give it a like if you have done, and share, subscribe if you want to be part of the community. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed it. Good little Saturday morning out, and yeah, I'll see you again for the next one. Comments always welcome, and yeah, have a good one. Cheers, guys.